Welcome, gamers, to episode 2 of this Let's Play series. We're playing Shadow Empire, which is an incredible game. It's an amazing game. We generated a world which is actually relatively easy. So I did go through. I've been trying to sort of talk about what to do if a game is more difficult, like on desert planets without life, because you do have to, find water. We've actually found water right from the start in this particular map. So we certainly have set up a world that is actually relatively easy for us to play. And I think if you are a new player, and I'm trying to build this series around, with a new player in mind as to things to sort of look for. But in this case, the first turn has essentially been done where we're building a rare metals mine in through here. We had a quick look at the different characters that we have. We don't have very many good characters. We've got a couple that are excellent, but there's not really too much else going on. Our models, like the actual units that we have and the ones that we can build, are reasonably good, so we don't need to sort of really rush into anything with those. And we got ourselves the Military Research Council as the first one that we got in the actual game as well, which we'll get after we end this turn. So let's now go and end the turn. What will now happen is it's a turn-based game, so basically we'll now end our turn. The AI will then sort of go through, and all the different factions will then go and start to figure out what they want to be doing. And so the units have all got different algorithms that they use for different things. Now, do we know anything about this one at all? Altona is culture unknown at this stage, so we don't know anything. We know that this one over here that we're at peace with are raiders, and I'm sort of glad that we are at peace there, because it means that we can ultimately push back against here and not have to worry about them. So let's just end our turn here. Now the game does make an auto-save, by the way, so if you do screw something up, just go back to the auto-save and just fix up whatever you forgot to do, so that you can then just go back in and do it. And believe me, it's not a slight on your abilities to do that. This game is complicated without being difficult. Now we saw there was some sort of battle. We can sort of see what actually happened through there a little bit. What we might have a look at, we killed 800 infantry, but we lost 700. So that's actually an interesting one. Let's start the turn and see what actually happened there. So your militia forces hold a parade to show their strength and loyalty. We're entering a time of relative calm. Advancing troops found intact Galactic Republic equipment near Bekalus. This is that large free folk town that we saw. This allows us to get our reserve recruits. So we've got 200 we found 200 Galactic Republic jetpack units. So we've got like a small contingent that we can now sort of start to add in to our forces, which is nice. So that's actually good. Click on another one. So we found an ancient storage near Marseille in the zone Bismarck. So 5 machinery has been secured. That's great for the building that we need in the early part of the game. The admin level has now reached level 4, which gives us another lot of stratagem packs. And so we've got a few different stratagem packs. Now, one thing I forgot to do in the last episode was actually look at the packs that we had or the options we had available to us. But it's probably just as well, because this will give us one more fate point, and we can now spend the 2 fate points here. Actually, one thing I was going to do was look at triggering a rebellion, because it gives us a lot more fate points. Now we also have this chemical high as well. In the early part of the game, quite often it's viable to do these, to sort of then pick up other things. Quite often the benefits outweigh the cost. Later on in the game, it can be a bit debilitating when you're trying to figure out, where a problem may arise. But at the moment, we can pretty much deal with anything. So let's go. We've got bonuses. We've got sending spies. So we got pushed away. This one actually suffered a little bit of damage in through there. And if we have a look and see what actually happened, if we go back to the history, we can see there's only been 9 steps. Now what it will do is, this is the start of the turn. Let's just sort of keep it back in through here. What we'll see is any movement that actually occurs. Now it's spotted 9 areas of movement. So if we just play the first one, so there's some movement up into here, into the Lola Wilds. There was movement back over here. Again, something coming in from the unknown areas. Now, it doesn't really worry me too much in through there to be honest. Back in through here, we got attacked. Now, we got attacked by 3,000 pink crawlers, whatever the hell they are. We don't know what those aliens actually are. But we killed 300 of them, and they killed 600 of ours. Now, we've got our infantry. We had 800, and we lost half the infantry, and we lost all of our whirlwinds. Now, the whirlwinds are our machine gunners. The machine gunners are our defensive unit, and so we actually got attacked there, lost those, and got pushed back. And then we see more movement going back down this way. So that was a bit of a problem. We don't know anything about the pink crawlers. We've got more movement back up this way as well. And we did get attacked here as well by rifle militia. And so the rifle militia attacked us into that hill location, and they lost 500. We lost 100 of our guards units. So we've lost a few units already. That was just turn 6. Then we've got other movement. Where was that one? I didn't see that movement. Oh, it's just them settling back down again. Then we go, and there's more movement there. Now, we've lost sight of them. They could still be there. We just don't know. And then finally, we've got more movement back out this way. Now, if they move to there, for example, then this would stay with the way it is. If they move to there, and there was nothing else over here, then that would have actually been taken up by that unit there. So I think what we'll do is we'll just keep on closing in on whatever this hex perk is. There's something else there. But anyway, that's the history. Again, I'm just going to go through in detail as to what we're looking at through here. So there's definitely movement out here, which we don't need anything. We've got 4 decisions to make. Now, the first thing I like to do with decisions is have a bit of a look and see if there's any decisions that I need to make. Now, I've got 20 political points. Just keep that in mind. Now, we do actually have a militia parade. On a beautiful day, your militia paraded through the streets. I understand you were present at the parade and gave thanks to our militia troops in person, but maybe there is something more that could be done. Now, this is actually no longer preset to come at this location at this time all the time in the game. It sort of can randomly come in the early part of the game. So it used to happen always on this turn. It just so happens that randomly now it has also come on this turn, but it doesn't have to. And this is actually something that I probably do want to say, yes, I've got the money. I've got the money to spend a little bit. So let's go and spend the 200. Now that's going to cost me 1 political point. And the only other decision I've got to make the national budget down through here, where I can sort of then go and change what's going to happen with the Military Research Council and the Supreme Command Council. Now I want to keep that around about 40-60 and have a bit more going into military research. So I'll just click on the 40 and just keep that one there. So 40-60 will be okay. So I'm just going to go confirm. And so that seems to be a bit of a bug, by the way. I think that should start off I'm not sure why it starts off at 40 there. Anyway, let's just confirm that one. There may be a reason, but I'm actually not aware. That's actually just something we were going to do anyway. There's no cost with the political points, so that one's done, easily done. And then the other one we have is the org decisions. So we need to assign a leader. Now at the moment, Tim Quintfort, who is our Cap 2, sitting inside the reserve pool, is the best candidate for the job. Let's just exit for that one there. It's we can assign the appointment. We also then have to then go and figure out what they're going to be actually then trying to do. But let's go in and actually look at the actual leaders that we actually have. Now, last time we've already figured out who we wanted to be using. We're sorting by capability level. It's our advisor that we want to actually assign across. I'm going to call the advisor. We're going to relieve the advisor. Now, I can spend the 12. I'm going to go and say another job. And so what this will then do is it won't damage our relationship with them. If I said no job, it would actually damage the relationship, even though we're going to be promoting them. So let's just go to another job. Yes. So he's now been taken out of that position. We can now go back into the map, and we can see that he's actually got a lower suitability, but at Cap 5, he's ultimately going to fill that role very, very well. And so this, like Tim has got, just put it into perspective, has got better overall skills, I think. Where is his? This one here. It's either going to be inventor or science. He's got 4 and 4. Actually, funny, I thought the other guy was a little bit better. Oh, he's got 19 there, but only 3. Maybe it's the technician side that's actually, or the science side that's kicking in more. But anyway, he is the guy. He is definitely the guy. So we're going to appoint him. Military Research Council task priorities. Now, what we want to be doing is we've got to figure out, do we want him to be discovering tech or do we want him to be researching tech? So what we'll have a look at through here is we'll just go back to the management screen again and look at the technologies. Now, there's a few technologies we desperately want to be getting. We want to be getting combat armor for our infantry. We want to be getting side skirts for our tanks. And I'd like to if I could, well, it's not urgent that we get this. We need a model design council to be able to implement these, but I definitely want those two. Anything with MI is what he could actually then go and find. The high-speed machine gun would be good. There's a lot of things in here that would be good, but nothing super urgent. Once we get 3 designed, we can then sort of move them across into other areas. I think I'm going to go and put more into discovery to try to get the ones that I want to focus on at the expense. Like, I don't need radiation filters. The gas-powered small arms, don't really need that one. The guided RPG, don't really need that one. And rocketry, we don't need. So there's just a few that I need. So to find those, I need to discover the text first. So if we go back to the map, and we're going to go discovery and make this one go maybe 75, 25. So the research itself would be 25 for any text that it finds. When we find combat armor or side skirts or anything like that, we can always flick it back if we need to. Let's just confirm that.
Yes.
So he will put, and that what's happening there, just to put that into perspective, we won't see it so much in here at this stage, but the Military Research Council will get allocated a certain number of bureaucratic points. So it's going to have, at this stage, there's nothing for it to actually put any research into, so all of it will get put back into here anyway. But it started off at 50-50, and we're getting 37 bureaucratic points. So we need to just keep on pushing in the amount that we actually can get in through here, turn after turn, essentially. So the more that we can put into research, the faster we're going to get those techs. So that's why bureaucratic points are just so important. Okay, so we've only got one more decision, which is the militia parade, and we can afford it. So let's just go and do that one. I don't want to go this way because I will be running out of money. But anyway, this, as I say, this one is no longer going to be coming up all the time at this point. But we will do that one. And we're sort of now done. That part of this turn has been done. Now we need to sort out the problems that we ended up having back and through here. So we've lost a few units. We'll just go to replacement troops, and we can just have a bit of a skim over here as well to see if things are sort of dwindling off. It's not too bad at this point in time. We need 5 of those and 2 of these to sort of get what we need. Now, if we can get a little bit more than the 5, let's just get, say, 8 guards, and it's going to cost us a little bit in there. Like, it's going to cost us 800 of the 3,000 recruits that we actually have. A little bit of metal, a little bit of industrial points. Industrial points is going to mean that we probably won't get that mine built. So let's just go that way and just get those. And we'll also just go to the machine guns, go to the whirlwind, and I'll just get, say, 3 of these. So again, just spending a little bit there. And so at the end of the next phase, they will then get sent back out to replenish these, as long as there's a supply network that's actually moving in there. Let's move these into, now one thing I'm at the moment, we were out here in the farmland. I'll just left click so you can sort of see these. When I hover over an area like this, you can see it's agricultural. When I hover over this down through here, we then get to see all sorts of different things. Now if we just look at infantry, that top row, we've got the attack modifier and defense modifier, 0, 0. So there's nothing much that's going to happen in through there. Now when we actually go into the, when we enter in this particular one, we start at with an entrenchment of 50. So when we move into open fields, essentially we have an entrenchment of 50, and if we stay there over time, we can get the entrenchment up to 125. For example, if we look at this unit here, which happens to be on there, and we go and click on that particular unit, we can see that their entrenchment at this point in time is now 106. If we just keep it there, it will end up with an entrenchment of 125, but it won't go beyond that. So that's the maximum entrenchment it can have. If we get down into the woods in through here, which are a little bit more dense, into the forests, we can then sort of see when we hover over that one there, that we end up with a little bit more maximum entrenchment. So we can actually sort of make use of that. If we have a look up at the mountains, like I'm surprised that we actually lost as many as we did here, to be honest, because the group that we didn't lose much, but the low mountains, the low grassy mountains, you can see through there, we actually have we were entrenched at least into 100 when we first enter it, and then we have a maximum entrenchment of 200. So we have good entrenchment at these locations. In fact, this one here, you can see the entrenchment is 133. And so these are important. Like, you want to be getting into positions that you can then sort of control. Now, we did push back on this one, so that's interesting. It may still be there. At the moment, we've got a recon of 15. Let's move this one up. Just going to right click. Now that's pushed that one away. Now if it was there, it wouldn't have pushed that away. So I'm going to go and move this one into that location, and then we've got these two now over this side. Now what's happened there, if I press number 1, we've actually taken what's called a hex perk. And if I go and click on the assets and then just go and do it by the actual location there, we've actually found an ancient luxury resort. And so we're getting 1 political point per round because of that. So it's not great, but it's something. It's going to help us a little bit with our political points. Not that it's going to make all that much difference. Let's just push number 1 back there again as well. Now, again, I'm thinking I'm still just going to keep on moving these up, pushing them back out. I'll use the militia to go back into the red zones. Now, something else is back over here, which is interesting. I'll move these back out as well, just to stay on these small locations. Move them back and just keep on pushing back where I can. Now, well, we don't have supply much further than this, so we have to be a little bit careful there. Let's just see if we can find out anything down this way. We don't know if there's anything in that location. That's a red. There's still something in here. I think I'm just going to keep that one where that is. Now, we don't know. There could be a unit there. We just don't know. So unless I've got the recon that I require, I'm not going to go in there. Oh, we've just picked up a big militia group. Let's just go and move them down. Oh, there we go. By moving into there with this unit, and this unit will actually have a whole lot of different things. It's got like rifle militia, it's got motorbike militia. Now if I go and click on these, we'll see that they've got like a recon of 10. These have got like a very, very strong recon amount. The militia itself have only got a recon of 1. So the motorbikes are very, very good at recon. The buggies as well have got a recon of 15. They're even better. So these can do a lot of recon abilities on those particular locations. When we look at the recon now, we have a recon of 59. So we're actually now getting enough information to see what's actually there. Now, are these those pink, whatever they're called, pink crawlers? Now, it's saying there's 900. There's probably a lot more than that because there was 3,000 that actually attacked us. So the unit is a maxi annelid that we can sort of see in through there, but the common name is the pink crawler. Let's talk a little bit about these creatures because we're going to have all sorts of different creatures that we're going to be coming across. Now, maxi annelid is the scientific name. If we go back to the reports, let's just put all this together. If we go back to help, and we go back to the biosphere. In the biosphere, we've then got the we've got some extras. We've got the biosphere and atmosphere and the biosphere details. Now, the biosphere details is showing that there's a land herbivore is the mini annelids, but the land carnivores are the maxi annelids. And let's have a look and see if we can figure out where they came from. So the maxi annelids, where are they? They're the extinct ones. Maxi annelids were the last thing that actually evolved on the planet. These are vertebrate, advanced with lungs and wings. So these are like flying units, these maxi annelids. And so we can see there that they evolved 2,029 million years ago, and there should be something that went extinct around about that time, potentially. So is there any other sort of annelids that might have gone that way? The mini annelid went extinct. Now, we've also got a different sort of mini annelid back in through there. So I'm thinking that this may have sort of split off at that point. So that one split off, that one went extinct, and then these two, the mini annelid through here, and this mini annelid maybe split off at that point and sort of then joined up with it. But the biosphere details, we actually have these. They stand at around about 700 millimetres high. They're very aggressive. So these are land carnivores. Don't have great defence, but they are very competitive. These are actually going to be a problem. And so they're going to be extremely aggressive with us. Now, there's a lot of them that attacked us, these pink crawlers. So let's go and find out a bit more about them. So that's the history of how they were, came about on the actual planet itself. When we have a look at these guys and click on the pink crawler, we can see all sorts of different things about them. And it's very important that you actually understand what's going on. So the scientific name is the maxi annelid promops. Now, there can be different variations of these maxi annelids, by the way. So a land-dwelling, sizable, almost 1 metre long carnivore. It resembles a worm analogue, so it's sort of got like a worm basis from where it sort of came from. Its chemistry is water carbon based, it's oxygen breathing. It's a chaser predator. So what this one does is it's a very, very fast animal usually. So these actually move very, very quickly. It has the following features or feats. It's an entangler 1. So for every level attack values are doubled, but chance to do damage instead of readiness loss is halved. So it's so there's different aspects about fighting. We'll sort of have a look at this in detail when we get to actually attack it. If it attacks us, we don't get a chance to really do anything, but we don't get to see the results. But if we attack it, we then get to at least analyse what actually happened. It's got a massive absorption level, absorption 5. So hits on the critter often, the higher the level, the more often, do not register if unmodified attack values is not higher than unmodified hit points. So that's interesting. We need to actually attack it with pretty strong equipment to be able to then cause a lot of damage. It's got Reflexor 2, up to 15% chance to escape certain death per level, also higher initiative. So again, very, very difficult animal for us to take on, and it's also got cunning as well. So we'll behave more intelligently. Keep in mind it's still an animal, but it will behave. It will be a cunning foe. And so when we have a look at this thing, it's got different aspects about it. It's got 36 hit points, which is not great, but when you sort of put the absorption in and reflexor, that's adequate. This is against soft targets. It's got a soft attack, so against this is why it did so much damage against our guys. It's got a 71 attack against soft targets, and it's only got a 29 defense against soft targets. So it doesn't defend all that well, but it does attack incredibly well. And similarly, back and through here, these are hard attacks and hard defense. It's got a very strong hard attack, but a very weak soft defense. Very weak hard defense. Now, in my head, I immediately start thinking, what do I need to take these things down? And really making use of this 4 defense against hard targets is the way to do this. And one thing we can get pretty early on in the game is buggies. And so if we just get armoured cars essentially to take these things on, and quite often you'll find that armoured cars will do a good job of this, we can use the armoured cars to actually do the damage on these units. So I think we'll actually go and build some armoured cars this round as well. So we'll exit out of there. Now that's going to then mean that our metal is going to be used up. We've got hardly any industrial points, unfortunately. We may not be able to get it this turn. We do have buggies in there. We've got more militia backing through this side as well. Let's risk this and see if there's anything in there. Nope, we're okay. Bit risky. There could have been another one of those in that location. So we're just sort of half guessing that they weren't. And with this one, I'm just going to keep that one where that is. These I'm going to keep where they are as well. Now, we saw that there was movement that came into this location, so I don't really want to be pushing anything there. I'll just press number 1. Here we are. We do have a small free folk town there. We picked up, these are the jetpack infantry. So we can see through here, these have got like 91 health. These ones do a lot of damage, actually. Soft attack, soft defense. Now, those pink crawlers are essentially a soft target, essentially from what we can sort of tell about them. They come up as infantry if we did attack them. These are actually these are going to be super strong. These are Ancient Galactic Republic equipment taken into our service. This is jetpack infantry. Its main armament is a charged Gauze rifle. It's issued with an Enviro suit. Now, our main forces probably don't actually even have Enviro suits. If we have a look, they may have it, but I don't think they possibly won't. If we look at the guards, this one, all it is just basically, it's got an automatic rifle and nothing else. So these have only got like a hit point of 50. They defend okay at 81, but they attack at only 40, so they're not great. So that's where we want the armoured cars to sort of come into the mix fairly early, I think. Okay, well, let's start to just keep on moving up. I don't want to get the leader too involved, so let's just move the leader across to there. I'll keep that one floating around, I think. We sort of spread out these units a little bit too much. Let's just push this way. Yeah, there's something else back up in here. Again, just see what's safe. Sorry, the dogs are barking outside. We've left a bit of a gap through there, which we have to be a little bit careful of. Let's just keep this one going. Now, territory just doesn't matter, so it's not. I'm not doing this to get territory. I'm just trying to get defensive lines that we can sort of then manage. Let's just move that one out a little bit. And there's something else in there. Let's just keep that where that is and keep these where they are. We won't even move them. Okay, so this will give this one a chance to recuperate. At the moment, its readiness is only 33. This is like a multiplier on its actual combat ability. So at 33, it's really, really poor. These guys are 72, they're 71, 96. This one we haven't moved at all. It's 90. So we don't want to be moving them if there's any sort of trouble. So we'll keep them all where they are. They've all now moved, and we've pretty much done this turn. I don't need to move that one off. We do. You can see it's all now green in through here with the supplies coming out through this side. Sorry about that, I just got interrupted. So I don't want to be moving off into areas that I'm not sure about. So I don't know in this one here. I've got 32 recon. Now we've got 65 in there, so who knows? They could be hiding in that location. If you just hover over recon, you can see they're really sort of saying that really you should be aiming for 70 to be sure that there's nothing in there. Now, at the moment, these particular pink crawlers don't actually have anything that would make them seem like they can adapt or camouflage themselves. They looks like they can be sort of spotted relatively easily, and so this is something we don't have to really worry too much about in that sort of instance. But let's. I can't really build anything this turn. I'm sort of now got my industrial points have gone way down, and we're going to be struggling now to finish off building this one in the next turn. Getting armoured cars now is becoming a bit of a priority just to deal with this, so we can sort of push them back, because we don't want them attacking our troops like this, because it's going to we're going to be draining troops all the time. So we want to be dealing with them, and we can't just let them go. They're quick moving, so they've actually got like an ability to move quickly on the ground. By the way, just for reference, I think it's either 200 or 300 kilometres across each actual sort of each hexagon that you're sort of looking at on the actual map itself. So we've done everything we need to do this. The turns will now sort of come a bit faster. So let's just end our turn here. Now, will that attack or will it move off? Because they've got a bit of a mind of their own. Yep, there's movement up this way. Whoever this is starting to sort of make some inroads. There we go. We've got another one. That's amorphous horse. And that did a lot of damage. So we lost 200 infantry. We have 1 decision and 66 reports waiting for you. Okay, so I'll just go through these. Actually, I forgot. That's one thing I forgot to do was to spend this stuff. So compliment, we're expanding. I'll just dismiss that. Now, we're expanding, but not for long, because we're now getting pushed back over this way. So we have to be sort of a bit careful here. Don't really want to be doing too much else there. Let's just move that one back. There's something else has now moved up in through that side. Let's just move them across as well. Just keep on plugging these gaps all the time. This was a bit of a problem, and it filled this one back up again. Now, we don't know if there's anything in there. We don't know if there's anything anywhere around us, actually, so let's just go back up into there. What sort of recon have we got? We've got 32, which is not really enough. Whatever was in here has now moved away. So let's now go and move down into that location, which sort of then pushes everything around. Now, if we move into there's no supply, so we have to be a bit careful of that. This one is now back up to 62 readiness, but has got the, it's now got the full contingent. Let's move that into, this is open areas, so if we have a look at the tundra, we don't get any actual automatic entrenchment. That's a really poor location for us to move into. So let's move up into this area here where we have in the forests, we end up with an entrenchment of maximum entrenchment of 150, but we start off with 50. So that's sort of what we're looking for. That's pushed that one way back. They've moved a long way back. Okay, so we know that we can now safely move into there. And even there, actually, that's actually interesting. So let's go and move this one down even further into that location. This is looking like we may be able to take this whole aspect of the southern part of the map. There's another one of the colonial towns, so Solora, and I don't remember that name either. So this would just be like some sort of small outpost that would have happened. Now, the others could be anywhere in here. Let's just move up. Still not seeing anything. What sort of recon have we got? 66 and 73. So we can be pretty sure there's nothing in there. There we go. We've now got 39 in through there. We've now got 74, so let's risk that. And here's those amorphous horses, or whatever the amorphous horse. So this is the gastroannelid. So let's go back and do what we did last time. Just go to the help files. We'll go down to the biosphere details, and it's the gastroannelids, land carnivores. These stand 2.5 meters tall. They're not as aggressive as the maxiannelids, but they're and we haven't yet met the multivan cestoda, which is the top land predator. So we've met two of the basic land carnivores now. Let's have a look and see what this thing has got. So this is the gastroannelid gloideus. So a land-dwelling large 3-metre carnivore, so 2.5, I think it was saying before, resembles a worm analogue again. Its chemistry is water carbon based and is oxygen breathing. It's an ambusher predator, and so it catches prey by preparing ambushes. It has the following feats. So it's amorphous, up to 50% more hit points per level. So it actually does have, it's very, very strong in terms of its actual hit points. It's an aggressor. So a higher chance it will take the initiative and attack your unit, so it's a fairly aggressive one. It's a reflex of 2, so up to 15% chance to escape certain death per level, also higher initiative, and it's a swimmer as well, and so up to 40% combat bonus in swamps and tundra per level. So that's a bit of a problem for us, essentially, if depending on what's around us. Now, that through there is still forests, that's forests. So at the moment, but if we push it back into tundra, then that's going to be able to respond accordingly. Now, what we'd like to do ultimately is cut them off. Now, there's another asset down here, another luxury resort, so another political point. So not great. I prefer to be picking up industrial points. If we have a look back in through here, we've now generated 115. We've got 115 back in there. We still didn't quite. We've got 0.1 of a turn left to build this particular location. We didn't have quite enough. Now, we've got 82. We hardly need anything else to do this one. Like, we're so close that I think we might just spend what we have now to get some armoured cars. So we'll get that one done this turn, and then we'll sort of call it quits. I need to be mindful of what's happening in through here with everything. Like, we're draining, you can see we're draining a little bit of the oil. That was because we moved this group. So we haven't moved that group, which is fine. These have now pushed back away. There's something else still back up this way. Let's just keep on moving up, move into the ruins. The ruins do protect us a little bit. This is just Savannah. So Savannah, we end up with, it's a bit like Plains, I think. Yeah, we've got 37 when we move in with 125 maximum entrenchment. Let's move that one out to there. So there's still stuff in here somewhere. Recon 28 is not really enough. I'll move this one. Actually, that one can't move at this stage. I'll leave that one back up in here, and I'll leave that one where that is as well, sort of on the edge. All right, so that's all going well. And again, if we just have a look, you can see there we've maximised our water. We've got nothing else. In fact, if I go back to trade, can we sell any more water? No, the price is too low. They've got no interest in buying it. Rare metals is, I've got a few, but I probably want to keep hold of them a little bit. So we're actually okay. The food is going up. I can actually sell that a little bit. I can sell a little bit more there. So I might just sell, not a hell of a lot, but just a like 600 odd.
Yes, sir.
As far as buying, there's nothing much we want to get there. Maybe metals would be okay, but let's just cancel that. We can then just leave that for a turn. Then we may go for the metal mine after this. Now, the metal mine is actually a bit cheaper to get, but it's still going to cost me a lot in industrial points, and I do want to get some armoured cars. So let's now, I might leave it here for this episode, actually. This is probably a good spot for us to leave it, and then we can talk about buying units next turn. By the way, this is something I don't want to be seeing happening. The private sector has decided to go off and build the oil well. Now, they're going to have that in one more turn. And I'm going to have to buy it off them or destroy it and then build my own. So unfortunately, that's what they've invested their money in. Now, I'll get a little bit back from this one. How much is in there? There's 15,928 oil there. There will be other oil. Maybe I'll just let it go for a little while, and then we'll sort of come back and take it back off them at some point. Oh, by the way, the other thing we forgot to do was to go to the strategic cards, and we want to have a look at zone cards to see what we can actually then go and do. And also nation cards. Now, Rebellion would be a good one for us in the early part of the game, but with those aliens, I think it's a bit too difficult for us, so I think we'll just leave that one alone. We'll just go back to the zones. I've got 2 fate points to spend, and I can get a security outpost or a scientific outpost. I think we might grab the scientific outpost. And what this will then go and do is it will place this somewhere, like another hex perk, somewhere in Bismarck. So just go and click on that one. Actually, that's 3 fate points. Security outpost will give me a bit of quality of life. I might grab that one there. That's only 2. God, I wouldn't mind getting that extra point. The scientific outpost can help a lot. All right, let's have a look and see back at nation again. Chemical high. So what happens if we do this one here? So we end up with a 6 die 10 increase in unrest, and fate points would be +2. I think we do it. So we're going to, and we know which zone it's going to be, because it's going to be our capital zone, and so that's going to then impact the happiness in the zone for a little while, but we'll get over it. So let's just go and get the unrest up. There's all sorts of different things that impact unrest. Let's just execute that stratagem. And so unrest went up by 43. So a new rage spread amongst the youngsters of Bismarck. They are wild and partying like there's no tomorrow. Windows have been broken. Law enforcement has been in scuffles. Okay, so that's now given us 4, and let's just go back to the zones now and get the scientific outpost. This is probably the better one to get early in the game. And so we'll execute the stratagem and close that one off. And then if we just press number 1, so we can hide all of our units, and then we'll just have a bit of a look around for that hex perk. There it is, scientific outpost, nice and safe. So that's actually in there, and this one's going to give me 200 research bonus points at the start of the turn. So that's going to help us with our research. If we have a look back in the organisations and have a look at the Military Research Council, you can see we're getting like a lot of investment and a lot of bureaucratic points being sort of pumped into the Research Council. We should have a bit more of a boost now coming into that as well with this scientific outpost. So that's going to sort of help us try to find new tech. And we do have one decision to make. We have no advisor. I'll just appoint him at this stage.
Yes, sir. Roger that, sir.
I often forget to use the advisors, and I'll probably do that this time as well. Just press number 1. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next episode.